Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report. I'm Nick Papadatos, and I'm joined once again by the head coach of Hofstra Wrestling, Dennis Papadatos. Dennis, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Getting ready to train.
That's good. That's good to hear. This weekend it was a big weekend for you guys. Your first dual match of the year against Army West Point. Unfortunately, it didn't go your way. Why don't you give us a brief breakdown of the weekend up in West Point?
Um, we lost the dual meet portion 30-18. We listen, they're a good team. We had some really great highs, and some lows that I wasn't expecting. And no one likes. I don't like making excuses, but as far as I know, I don't think they had any of their starters out. Maybe 141. I'm not sure, but we had 4 of our 7 nationally ranked guys out. 4, and if we had Dylan Ryder alone, and Dylan's a pinner. If Dylan wins and pin, which wasn't is on paper was something that could have been feasible, right? Not just we win the duel, or we tie the duel, right? Like just that one alone. So we, being out Sage and Ricky and Dylan and obviously Greg, we weren't out, but he'll be in soon. With those 4 guys, I'd like to run that duel again and see what would happen. You know what I mean? But we came with what we had and we competed. They came with what they had and they competed. We got some good wins. Garrett Lambert looked really good. Obviously, Holden Heller beating a kid that's ranked as high as 7th, as low as 14th, and pinned him in the first period. And you can say he caught him, but Holden lost him in overtime last year and was beating him. And then the kid came back to beat him in overtime. And 2 weeks ago, Holden told me he was going to pin that kid. Like 2 weeks ago in practice, Holden said to me, please make sure the Army duel is going to happen because I'm going to pin him. And I'm like, okay. And then goes out and he pins him. So, you can say it is what it is, but and we're proud of Ross. Ross stayed tough. He was probably going to win that match anyway, and then got a big pin that we needed at the time. So, and then we, had some letdowns. I thought we could have won 97. We could have won heavyweight. 65, even without Ricky, I thought Reese was going to win. It was rusty. We haven't wrestled since March. Haven't done any of that since March. They got a chance to compete before. They have 50 guys in their team. We have 20 something, less opportunities. And we were off for 10 days, right? We were off for 10 days and moved the duel back just so we can have one more day of practice. So we were really rusty. So I guess we wrestled well, but we were good enough to win. And so when you don't win, we still got work to do because we're good enough to beat them. We're good enough to beat them even with the lineup we had in there, especially with the lineup that if we put it all together. So.
Yeah, it was a good match. I thought from both sides. Your guys, like you said, coming off 10 weeks of or 10 weeks, 10 days of no competition. You haven't wrestled in a competitive setting since March, like you said.
Yeah.
For them to come out and compete the way that they did, even if the results didn't go your way, it had to have been at the very least encouraging.
Yeah, with a top 25 team.
Yeah. And
so I think highly of them because after they beat us, they actually moved up the top 25 ranking. They didn't move out; they moved up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it was. I thought it was really a good performance on the team. Going back to Holden Heller, like you said, being so confident to win that match against a nationally ranked opponent. What do you think of Holden going forward with the rest of the season after that season opening performance of his?
I think it was from before. He's looked different in the room. He's looked different. Just seems more confident. Seems more an expectation that he's going to win. Even like I said, in practice, in everything he goes about, he just has a little more of an expectation. But I told him he's in new waters. Then he's kind of back to his high school waters. And I said, listen. Because he plays pretty high in Illinois State. He was in the semifinals of Illinois States as a sophomore, junior, and a senior. And Illinois is one of the best states in the country. So, that nationally ranked type of thing. I said, hey, welcome to the fist fight. You now have a radar on your back, right? Now people want to beat you to take what you got. Just like you wanted to beat Hartman to take what he's got. And Hartman's going to battle and come back because he's a warrior and he's good. Hartman beat Holden last year in overtime, but he still beat him. You know what I mean? And now I said, now people know who you are. There's no sneak attack and who's Holden Heller kid. And all of a sudden they find themselves on the back and don't know what to do. Now people are training, getting ready to beat you, to beat what you got. So you got to be more ready. It's great. Congratulations. It doesn't matter anymore, right? That's what we're trying to move forward. Stay confident, keep training, stay expectant, and get out there and do what you can do. And what he can do is pretty darn good.
Yeah, definitely. He's got that got those expectations now from not just the coaching staff and the team, but I think from everyone with
he's
this when he
nationally
put his
ranked
name
in
out
most
there.
polls. He went from not ranked to 20th. You know what I mean? Like that. Boom.
Yeah, well, that'll happen when you
What happened
take on a wrestler
in
of
the
Hartman's
country.
caliber.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about Charles Small. He kind of got caught, it looked like, with his knee right at the start of his match. He had to hit the pull out. How's he doing right
He
now?
banged his knee up the week before, but he's fine. He's practicing. He should be good to go this weekend.
That's good.
I love him, and he got a little panicked, and I think I'm like, hey, you're over it. Like, relax. We'll let the trainers and the doctors know. He didn't have to see the doctor. The trainer saw him. He's got to tape it up. He's I think he just got shook because he heard it 2 days before, and then I think he just got in those situations, high intensity, and then he tweaked it. And as he was going, he was like, oh, and then I think about 2 hours later, he was kind of like, yeah, I probably, but it's hindsight's 2020. When you're going through it, I think he just panicked, right? I think he just panicked that he hurt his knee really bad, and he's realizing now that, okay, my knee's hurt, but welcome to college wrestling. It's not hurt bad enough that he needs to sit out. I can tell you that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, he hurt it earlier in the week, and anytime he hurts the same, get the same injury again, you're always thinking worst case scenario. But it's good to hear that he's back up and practicing.
Yeah. He's been practicing.
That's awesome. What was the atmosphere like at that match? Because Army West Point, they had no fans in the Gillis Fieldhouse.
There seemed to be some. I don't know. There seemed to be a few. I don't know. They had their extra guys because they have a big roster, but there were some other people that I don't know what they were doing there. You know what I mean? I don't know if they worked there. I thought it was interesting, but you're right. Overall, there really was no fans.
Yeah, overall, no fans. You're used to wrestling at the Max Sports Complex. There's a healthy amount of fans there. Wrestling in other arenas, there's a healthy amount of fans there. What was it like to be missing that fan atmosphere, even at a road institution?
Different, not shaking hands, not like, just weird. Weird, and it's weird because it's abnormal to what we're used to, right? So weird isn't always bad. It's just abnormal to what I'm 42 years old. I've been doing this for a long time. I was wrestling college matches before the kids on my team were even born, right? So, the things I'm accustomed to are so different this year. So it's weird, but we'll adjust, and then I'm sure they'll eventually kind of go back, but I think things will change permanently. Some things will change permanently, right? Like but I think a good amount of it will go back. So, it's quiet. It's weird being 6 feet away from your other coaches. We got to get up and talk to each other. Like it's awkward. But it's the same situation everyone has. So you just chalk it up. You just chalk it up as another thing you got to deal with or get through, and you move forward. So, but interesting. I'll say interesting at least.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. Not having fans around when you're at like a basketball game, for instance, or in this case, a wrestling meet where if that fan energy can kind of shift a match one way or the other. So it's just something that people are gonna have to adjust to.
No doubt.
Going into this coming week, you're on the road again. This time at Long Island. They just had their I think 5th meet of the year. A win over Sacred Heart last night. Why don't you break down the Sharks for us really quick?
Listen, it was a good win. Sacred Heart is LIU's vastly improved from last year. The good news is so are we, but we should have way more of our guys back. Sage probably won't be back yet, but it seems Dylan and Ricky should be good. We'll see about the transfer 49-pounder. He is fully eligible. He can compete. He is practicing. It's really more of, is he ready? You know what I mean? We got to give him some days, but we haven't ruled out using him this weekend, but we'll see, most likely not. So, but Dylan and Ricky should be back. So we're greatly improved. They're greatly improved. Sacred Heart, they had a good year, and I was impressed by the result. So as I haven't told the guys yet, but we got to be ready. We got, we got to do the right things, and they got some kids at several weights that can wrestle. So and they want what we got. You know what I mean? We have as of right now with Greg Exiola in on, there's like 7 or 8 national rankings. We have 7 guys at least on one ranking somewhere ranked top of 33. I don't think they have any. Yeah, so they have guys that want to take what we got, right? So in their home place, and they, like I said, they have guys that can wrestle. So we'll be prepared. We'll be ready. We respect them. Obviously the head coach there is Mike Patrovich's father, right? My assistant coach's dad is the head coach at LAU. We're very close. We respect and appreciate each other. It'll be heated battle when we compete, and we'll be, friends after. So, but right now we're preparing to beat them, as I'm sure they're preparing to try to beat us.
Yeah, it should be a good matchup. Like you said, they've improved. Last year was their first year of Division I competition. You can only go up
Yep.
from the ground level. This Sunday, Hofstra against Long Island University at noon this Sunday. Catch all the action, learn everything you can about Hofstra sports on gohofstra.com. For head coach Dennis Papadatos, I'm Nick Capatos, and I'd like to thank you all again for watching this week's WB Mason Coaches Report.